Hi, I'm Cassidy. My two props are candles. How many of you have been to aquariums to see marine mammals? I have. I am against marine mammals being in captivity because enclosures can't replicate the ocean, health and breeding numbers contrast those of the wild, and captive animal research isn't accurate. The first reason marine mammals don't belong in captivity is enclosures can't replicate the ocean. Tanks used to house these animals aren't big enough. Migratory mammals don't have enough space to migrate. Usually they're swimming in circles without environmental change, and typically that is where stress behaviors are observed, like head pressing and floppy dorsal fins. Concrete and glass don't match the sand, stone, seaweed, and other textures of the ocean. Chemicals used for tank maintenance also are not natural for the animals. Facilities argue that they meet each need per animal. When obtaining an animal, they factor in the size, depth, and surrounding textures in order for the animal to be safe and comfortable. The second reason marine mammals don't belong in captivity is that health and breeding numbers contrast that of the wild. Antibiotics and ulcer medications are regularly administered. Bacterial infection is a common cause of death. National Marine Fisheries Service Marine Mammal Inventory Report cites pneumonia as the #1 common cause of death. Different species show different mortality and birth rates. Non-cetaceans have a similar mortality rate in captivity versus the wild. However, birth rates are higher in captivity because they don't have anything else to do besides eat, sleep, and breed. Birth controls have actually had to be developed for these animals. Dolphins have a higher mortality rate in captivity versus the wild. Failure to display a higher captive survival rate despite 70 years of maintaining a species captivity says a lot. Same goes for birth rates. Calves are routinely born, but they fail to show rate improvement. Whales. We're going to be speaking mostly of orcas. Captive orcas have a 2.5 times higher mortality rate than wild orcas. Only 2 captive orcas have lived past 35 years old, while wild orcas could span to 80 years old. 83 known pregnancies with 40 viable calves, while it's theorized that some captive data is missing. A regular argument is made that captive breeding is used to conserve species populations. Breeding in captivity is used to boost endangered species populations so future generations can enjoy these animals as well. The third reason marine mammals don't belong in captivity is that species research isn't accurate. Most of what could be learned from captive animals has already been learned. That includes reproductive physiology and general physiology. Research teams go on regular missions to observe marine mammals in their natural habitat to get the most accurate statistics with reduced stress. They get in-depth studies using biopsy darts, electronic tags, and underwater video cameras. It can be argued that having marine mammals in captivity boosts research of species we don't normally have access to. Having these animals in a controlled space for researchers gives them continuous opportunities for statistics. In conclusion, I'm against marine mammals being in captivity because enclosures can't replicate the ocean, health and breeding numbers contrast those of the wild, and captive animal research isn't accurate. I believe in the rehabilitation of marine mammals, but not captivity. The disproportions in the reality of marine mammal captivity are too large for me to ignore and for me to be okay with. Too many unnecessary deaths, too dangerous and inhumane for an endangered species. I've learned more on watching outdoor tours than in aquariums for these larger animals because I'm seeing their natural behavior in nature. I also believe that humans don't need to touch everything they find. Thank you. Any questions?